My son gave me a sealed smartphone for my birthday, but when my cybersecurity analyst granddaughter set it up, her face changed and she said, "Grandma, call the police now." My chest. My name is Beatrice Horf. I am 62 years old, retired, widower, and until recently I believed my family was the one place left where I was safe. I had worked my whole life in silence, invested wisely, lived simply, and kept my finances private. Even my own children did not know the full extent of what I owned, the properties, the accounts, the insurance policies. I never bragged, I never flaunted it, I just wanted peace. On my 62nd birthday, my son Nicholas surprised me with a sealed brand new smartphone. He smiled too hard while handing it to me, said it was time I upgraded, said he worried about me being alone, said he wanted to be able to reach me anytime. I felt touched and uneasy at the same time, but I accepted it because that is what mothers do. We give our children the benefit of the doubt even when our instincts whisper. My granddaughter Alice was visiting that weekend. She is sharp, quiet, the kind of person who watches everything before speaking. She works as a cybersecurity analyst, the kind of job where paranoia is just another word for training. She offered to help me set up the phone, and within minutes her face changed. Not panic, not shock, something colder, more focused. She told me the phone was compromised, not with cheap malware, but with professional-grade spyware, software capable of tracking my calls, messages, location, banking activity, even activating the camera and microphone without my knowledge. She said this was not something an average person installs by accident. She said someone paid for this, someone planned this. My chest tightened, because suddenly the gift did not feel like love, it felt like a leash. Alice documented everything quietly, exported logs, captured screenshots, preserved metadata, then told me we needed to speak to someone official, not family, not friends, someone who could protect evidence. That is how Detective Isaac entered my life, a man with tired eyes and a voice that carried the weight of too many broken families. Detective Isaac confirmed what Alice found. He said this device was designed for surveillance, not protection. He asked me questions I never thought I would answer, about my assets, my accounts, my insurance, my will. When I told him the approximate value, his posture changed, and that was when the word exploitation entered the room like a bad smell. He asked about Nicholas, my son, his finances, his friends, his habits. I defended him at first, because that is what mothers do, until Isaac mentioned Andrew Williams, a name that made the air go still. Andrew was Nicholas's close friend, always around when Nicholas visited, always polite, always asking questions disguised as concern. Turns out Andrew had a criminal record, elderly financial abuse, identity manipulation, forged guardianships. The pieces began to connect in a way that made me nauseous. Isaac dug deeper, and what he found felt like a knife twisted slowly. My life insurance beneficiary had been changed to Nicholas without my direct authorization. Attempts had been made to flag me as mentally incapable through third-party inquiries. There were records of planned fake calls impersonating bank customer service, scripts designed to scare me into moving money between accounts under the excuse of security issues. My son was not trying to help me. He was trying to erase me while I was still breathing. Detective Isaac advised me not to confront Nicholas. Instead he suggested something that felt wrong but necessary. He told me to pretend, to act confused, to lean into the narrative they were building, to talk openly about selling my house, about being overwhelmed by finances, about needing help, and to see how far Nicholas would push. So I did. I called Nicholas, told him I felt lost, told him numbers confused me lately, told him I worried about making mistakes. I could hear the excitement buried under his fake concern. Within days he suggested power of attorney, guardianship, said it was just paperwork, said it was for my own good, said everyone does it. While he prepared documents, Alice searched the cloud storage linked to the spyware, and that is where we found the truth laid bare. A hidden folder containing pre-filled medical assessment forms listing false symptoms, memory loss, confusion, paranoia, guardianship petition templates, drafts of financial transfers, and a handwritten timeline detailing when control would shift from me to them, dates, steps, signatures. Everything planned like a business takeover. It was never impulsive, it was calculated. The meeting to sign the power of attorney was held in a quiet office. Nicholas sat across from me smiling. Andrew stood nearby pretending to be moral support. The documents were laid out, pens ready. My hands shook not from fear but from rage I had never allowed myself to feel before. When Nicholas slid the paper toward me, Detective Isaac walked in with officers behind him. The room collapsed into chaos. Nicholas froze. Andrew tried to leave. They were both detained, devices seized, accounts frozen, evidence presented. Andrew was arrested later that day at his apartment with forged IDs and stolen records. The case moved fast because it was airtight. Digital trails do not lie. Greed makes people sloppy. Andrew received an 8-year federal prison sentence. No sympathy from the judge. No leniency. Nicholas received a suspended sentence, probation, restitution orders, mandatory counseling. Watching my son stand there stripped of his arrogance was a pain I would not wish on anyone, but justice does not care about bloodlines. My revenge was not loud. It was thorough. I revoked Nicholas from my will permanently, redirected funds to trusts he could never touch, donated part of my assets to organizations that protect elderly abuse victims, and testified publicly. My story became evidence in other cases tied to Andrew's network. His entire operation collapsed because of what they tried to do to me. Nicholas lost his job, his reputation, his access, his illusion of control. He has to check in with a probation officer now instead of counting my money. Andrew lost years of his life behind concrete walls, listening to doors slam, knowing his own greed put him there. As for me, I changed my number, my locks, my routines, but I did not change my heart. I learned something important. Evil does not always come screaming. Sometimes it arrives in a gift box with a smile. If you are listening to this, watch for the signs. Unexpected gifts tied to technology, sudden interest in your finances, questions about your memory, pressure to sign documents you do not fully understand, calls claiming to be customer service asking you to move money urgently. Trust your instincts. Confusion is not weakness. Asking for help is not failure. I survived because someone younger noticed something older generations were never taught to fear, and because I chose patience over confrontation, strategy over emotion. I am still standing, still in control, and the people who tried to bury me legally are the ones living under supervision now. That is my story, and if it saves even one person from being quietly erased by their own family, then telling it was worth reopening the wound. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.